video to the public. Okay. Hi, everyone. This is a Hangout on air with our ANZ Google Student Ambassadors sharing how they use Google Apps from the student's perspective. In this Hangout, we'll hear directly from 3 university students and sharing how they use Google's technology for school, work, groups, or just fun. Please submit any questions on the comment stream of our Hangout. Now for quick introductions. My name is Jordan Pedraza, and I'm a community manager for Google Apps for Education, focusing on colleges and universities in North America. But I'm actually visiting our Google City Australia to hang out with our ambassadors and hear how they're using apps. Before we hear from our ambassadors, I'd like to quickly introduce a few of my colleagues from the Google team.
Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Boardman. I'm based in Sydney and I manage our student programs for Australia.
Hi everyone, my name is Swan Yo. I manage the app for education business in Asia Pacific, so covering Australia and New Zealand as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Miriam Schneider. I'm based in Mountain View, California, but also here visiting the Sydney office, and I work on our apps for education and marketing efforts, including managing the Global Student Ambassador Program.
Cool. Thanks, guys. So with that, I'll turn it over to one of our ambassadors. First, Tim Lacey from Monash University. Tim, the floor is yours.
Cool. Hi everyone, my name is Tim Lacey. As Jordan said, I am from Monash University and I study electrical and computer systems engineering. And I am also a Google Student Ambassador. That's like a t-shirt. So I'm going to talk to you guys about Google Calendar, which for me is arguably the greatest Google app. So yeah. Obviously, as a university student, organizing events and classes and stuff is important. So what I'm going to do is a screen share with you guys, an excellent feature of Hangouts. Cool, you guys can see that. So as you can see here, this is my calendar. And as you can see, I'm in a Hangout right now. Cool. So as you can see from this, all of my classes are here from all of my different subjects, including their class type, such as labs, lectures, as well as practicals, tutorials, and support classes. And yeah, this is a great way to organize your classes and stuff like that. I was discussing with Shane yesterday and discovered that not every university has their timetables and stuff synced with Google Calendar, but at Monash we're lucky enough to have that. So if you haven't got this in your Google Calendar, you can go to calendar feeds right under the calendar link right here on my Monash page. And from there, you'll be able to select one or all of the useful calendars that you have available to you, such as your timetable, important dates, which features stuff like public holidays. Quite often at Monash, we have public holidays which aren't really public holidays. We still have classes, which is highly annoying. As well as bookings, which are synced with the Monash booking system. For when you sign up for workshops, either organized by each of the departments, like you have a workshop organized by the careers and development people about improving your resume or your cover letter. You sign up for one of them, it's automatically synced with your Google Calendar, and that's really useful. And student diary, that's just miscellaneous stuff. So yeah. So here's my calendar. Here's a lab that I have tomorrow morning. As you can see from this, it includes all of my building numbers and room numbers, which at a campus which is really big with pretty much 100 different buildings, each with different floor levels and stuff like that, it can be quite hard to navigate and let alone remember room numbers and stuff like that. But yeah. So there's that. And as you can see from this, I've repeated that, from week to week, right up until week 12. Cool. As you can see, I have multiple calendars in my one calendar. I have my personal calendar. I have a calendar which is associated with my society, which I am based around, which is Society of Monash Electrical Engineers. I have miscellaneous other social stuff, and all of my university calendars down there, fun stuff. And a really awesome feature of calendars is the fact that you can share them. With the SME calendar, I have created that, and I have shared that with all of our members. Next event, I think, is on Tuesday. So I've actually made this calendar public, so anyone that has a link to this calendar, say from our SME website, which we have organised through Google Sites, which we'll talk about in a minute, but yeah, anyone can access this and find out about our latest events. So next Tuesday we have an EGM where we can elect a new committee. It's in room 132, building 72. And you'll notice that I've also attached a document to this calendar event. This is in fact a feature of the labs in Google Calendar, so it's kind of experimental, it's not built in. And as you can see, I've attached a Google Doc, which basically explains the roles of the positions of the people that that are available at the EGM. And this again is shared to the public. Cool. And this is also internally shared with the SME committee, each of whom can edit this, however only the public can view it. So that's shared with the public, and within societies or groups of people, say you're in a group environment, you can share calendars with people. So I have shared my university timetable with friends and group members, so they can see when I'm available and I can see when they're available, and it makes it a lot easier to organise events like meetings and stuff like that, most of which end up culminating in a Google Plus Hangout, because we have, if it's more than 5 people, you can't find a time during the day to meet. So a Hangout after hours is always good. So that. Here is just an empty Google account, which I'm going to use to demonstrate some stuff. So here I'm just creating an event. I don't know, called Work at the Factory. This is going to repeat on a weekly basis. And that's going to end after 5 occurrences. So as you can see, there's a summary down here which explains in words what is going to happen. So as you can see from up here, I've selected each of the weekdays. So it says this repeats weekly on weekdays 5 times, and then the event finishes. So if I hit save, that'll appear there, and that's repeated 5 times. Cool. And so that's just a quick demonstration of that stuff. So what I'm going to do now is create an event up here and highlight the highlight this feature here where you can send invitations to people. So with my SME committee, I've created a group of contacts in Gmail, and I can add in one simple click the entire committee of 13 people, as opposed to remembering all their names, which I never do. And you can, of course, detail everything. And you can attach a document to that. So instead of including links or saying, you know, see Google Docs folder, you can attach it right there. And that's a great way to organize meetings and stuff like that, especially combined with the calendar sharing, where you can see everyone's availability. And as I said before, even if there's more than 4 or 5 people, it becomes really difficult to find a time where you're available. One last feature of Google Calendar I want to highlight is tasks. As you can see on the right here, I have several tasks that I need to do, most of which involve rewatching lectures. Yeah, that's another useful productivity tool that you can use in Google Calendar. And the last thing I want to show is a quick tour of Google Sites, which I utilize to control the SME website. So it takes some time to load.
Hey Tim, I saw one question actually come in.
Yep.
They asked, do you use any search queries in Calendar or any of the other tools?
Yeah, I do. So if, for example, I want to see how many labs I have for the rest of this semester, I can just type in if I re-screen share. So what I've done here is just basically type in laboratory up there, and it brings up all my labs that I have left in the semester. And as you can see, I don't have that many. Or, for example, I can type in an exam, and that's when my exam dates are. Not very fun. But yeah. Just going back to sites, you can see here that I've embedded the SME calendar. It's available to the public, and as you can see there, that's the event for the SME EGM. If you click on more details, you bring up a new window. And there's also opportunities for you to copy this to your own Google Calendar, or you can also, by clicking this little button here, you can add the entirety of the SME calendar, which is synced to your own calendar. And that's that. Again, the doc is visible to everyone. Cool. As you can see here, I've listed several announcements from the Society. Again, the SME EGM this Tuesday. Free pizza and soft drink for everyone. As you can see here, I've basically listed everything you need to know. I have also embedded a Google Doc within the Google site, which appears basically the same as it appears in Google Docs. And any changes that are made, just hit refresh and they appear instantly. And that's really easy. Bunch of previous stuff. Yeah, that's Google Sites, and that's how we use it in SME. Cool. I'm pretty much finished.
Awesome.
So that's Calendar and Sites, and yeah, hopefully you guys learned something.
Yeah, cool. Another question I had for you with Calendar. So, do you have like a mobile device, a smartphone, or a cell phone?
Yes, I was going to mention that. So, I have a tablet with ice cream sandwich, if you can see that. That's my agenda of my latest events that are coming up. So that details my university timetable, including basically all the stuff you saw in there before. So all of my labs and stuff, and with the calendar app, I can see everything, and I get the same experience on my phone. Ta-da!
Awesome. And which phone is that?
This is Samsung Nexus S.
Okay.
Again, with ice cream sandwich.
Mhm.
So you can, if heaven forbid you have an iPhone, yes, you can sync with Google Calendar. But with Android, it's a lot easier. You just sign in, all your calendars are synced. It's easy.
Awesome. And then another thing I wanted to ask about calendar, have you ever looked at adding any other, like, of the interesting calendars we have, like maybe a sports calendar or holiday calendar?
In here I have the Australian Public Holidays calendar.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and contact birthdays and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what did you do before all this? Like, how did you keep track of your schedule and, you know, or with your club, like, how did you guys work together? What was your life like before?
Pen and paper. How we did everything. The way I see most people that don't use or don't know how to use Google Calendar, they have a printout, a static printout of their timetable. Yeah, that works just as well, but you don't always have that on you. I always have my phone on me. I always have my tablet on me when I'm at uni. And yeah, with Google Calendar, it's easy with customization because sometimes you have room changes and they aren't reflected on your static printed out timetable. And some weeks you don't have labs, some weeks you do. And you can easily delete or create events on Google Calendar. You can also set reminders that remind you of stuff.
All right. Well, it looks like Shane was not able to stay in the Hangout, so he's going to try to join again. We're talking to him, but why don't we just hand it over to Mark. Mark, do you want to take the floor?
G'day guys, my name is Mark Jambas. I'm the Student Ambassador for Griffith University on the Gold Coast. I study biomedical science, which is probably a bit different to the rest of the people you have on the Hangout. And essentially my whole uni life is in docs. I don't know what I did before docs. Once you start sort of collaborating in a cloud environment and sharing notes with students from lectures and any assignments you're working on, you really, I can't go back. So group study is the main thing I use it for. I've got two main friends who I collaborate with on pretty much everything. So first there's Rory, and he's the kind of guy who will grab the textbook, sit under a tree for 2 weeks and read the thing cover to cover, and he'll make his notes based on the textbook. And I've got another friend, Brioni, and she's always really practical with everything, always wants everything to be tried and tested, and loves her practical work, loves her labs and journal articles, and she'll come at the study from that angle. And then there's me. I love my lectures. I sit there and I'm that crazy guy who's writing down every single thing that's being said while everyone else is trying to talk to me or something, and I don't respond. And I'm like, I need all of this stuff. So together with the three of us, we really, once we started collaborating, we realized we had a really complete set of notes. So from three different angles. So let me just share up one of our documents. We've got an exam coming up. I'll show you a bit about what we are doing now. Okay, that looks like it's coming through. Let me just... Can you still see that?
Yep.
Cool. So essentially what we've got here, this is a combination of all of our notes together for an exam that we have coming up pretty soon. You can see that I've put pictures in there from the lecture slides and also scanned a few from the textbook as well. And this is shared with the two people I mentioned just before. So if I come and hit this share button here, you can see it's private for me and a few others. So here we set the access within sharing. I've got myself here, I've got Brioni and Rory, and they're the two people that I share everything with, and I can, when I add more people to this, it sends them a little notice to let them know there's a document there, and you can also include the whole document when you share it as well, that pops up in the email. So essentially, what we have here is always the current version of whatever we're working on. There's no more of this, what's the current version stuff. It's always the current version that we're seeing here live in the cloud. And so we can see live typing, you know, I'll see what they're writing will come straight up in front of me, and vice versa, so we can see who's filling in what. If we have like a big brain dump session and it's all messy, it doesn't matter, any one of us can jump in and fix it up later to make it look legible. And you've got, with that, you've got, you know, autosave and all that sort of thing straight to the cloud. So let me show you what these, let me just make sure these guys are doing their work. So we'll go to revision history, and this is where we'll see who's contributed what. So Brioni at 6 AM, and that's late for her as well. She's normally putting things in here at 4 or 5 AM, which I don't understand. But see how she's got a little pink box next to her? This is her, what she's done in here. She's pasted some of her notes. Let's see. Oh, there we go. She's fixed some myself. She's fixed something here that I got wrong. Thanks for that. And now we'll see Rory. So let's see. He should pop up in orange. Here we go. Here's some from Rory. He's added a few more things here. This is obviously stuff he's found under his tree reading his textbook. And he's added a few things in here that I've missed out. So you can see that between the three of us here, we've got coming at these notes from every angle. And when we have this quiz that's coming up, we'll all be really, really prepared. So another thing that I really love about this being a student of medical science is we have a lot of Greek symbols and enormous words that are just ridiculous, and I can't even pronounce most of them. So just the fact that you do have autocorrect in here was a real make or break feature for me. And you can add, you know, whatever you like into this, just down here, just same as what most people are used to. So, you know, I've got a few different bits and pieces in there. And essentially, so, you know, you just type it and it corrects it. And it sounds simple, but for someone like me doing a degree like this, it's really, really crucial. So the next stage that I'd like to get to is collaborating in the lecture theatre. And so we can do live collaborating once we get to the stage where we're all bringing our laptops to uni. Then we can sort of see who's doing what in the lecture, and so we're not double handling, because it all just pops up live for everybody. Another thing that I collaborate with at university is I'm currently filming a video. There's a really cool robotics Android club that I'm following, and I've been hanging around with them for the last couple of months taking videos and photos and whatnot, and I've put it all together into a 5-minute video that needs to be approved by all the members on the team before I can send it external and that sort of thing. So what I've done, I've just uploaded it in here into Google Docs, and it comes up just with the really familiar YouTube interface that everyone already knows already. And I just use Google Drive on my home computer just to drag and drop this in here. And even though we don't have Drive rolled out at Griffith yet, I just shared it up, so I've got access to it at home on my desktop. I've got, you know, it's shared up when I'm at uni and that sort of thing. And you can see here that, let's go into share. These are all the people that are currently reviewing it at the moment to give their feedback. And the good thing about having it hosted in here is it's private, for one, because it's not ready for public viewing yet. And we've got the quality, so depending on what connection people are on, if they're on just a 3G link or whatever, they can just stream it in low quality. And when the final version comes, I'll send that through in HD, and then they can choose to download it. Just up here, there's a download. And you can turn this download feature off if you don't want people to download, but I'll leave it on for these guys because it's important for them to have their approval. So what's been happening, this is the first version, and people have been commenting up here on the video. And see, Desiree here's written a few things. She's got some feedback here that she didn't like, and I've resolved these issues, so now it's got a big tick next to it. And people can just write, you know, at this particular part of the video, I don't like this, or please fix this sort of thing, or you spelled this guy's name wrong. And that's been really cool. So now I'm ready to put the final version through. And since everyone at Griffith is on apps, all of the staff and students, when the time comes that I need to submit this to external relations for approval, I'll just add them onto the share. It's really as easy as that. So I'll just turn off the screen share. So yeah, let me get on to the next thing that I use it for. Oh yeah, so really what another cool feature is when you're doing an assignment, because it's all cloud-based, I've got a pretty big laptop and the battery lasts 2 or 3 hours if I'm lucky. I just start at home, then I rock up to university, use a university computer, carry on working on it there. When I get home, I just keep working on it back at home again, or if I'm at somebody's house. It's always the right version is there. I've lost USB sticks a couple of times, just leaving them sticking out of computers, and that never happens again now, and you feel like an idiot. One time I had my keys attached to it. So yeah, that's never going to happen again, which I'm ecstatic about. So we have some faculty users as well of Google Docs, and they're doing some really cool stuff live in lecture theatres now. So essentially we have one lecturer in ICT who wanted to make the Blackboard environment a bit more collaborative. So what she does is she downloads the gradebook from Blackboard and exports that into Google Docs as a spreadsheet, and what that gives you then is everyone's name and ID and a whole marking matrix for assignments and reports that people hand in, and she can share that up with other staff. So essentially what you have there is collaborative assignment marking, even though it's not actually a feature that is rolled out to us yet in any particular way. She's kind of gotten around it and been creative to achieve that, and I think that's really cool. Also, another even better thing that I think, she creates practice quizzes in her lectures that she runs live in the theatre for the hour session, and the students complete the practice quiz live in the theatre. So let me, I'll just share up the screen and I'll show you that. I've got some screenshots. The original does have student details in it, so I've just got screenshots for this particular one. So here you can see what she's done. She's grabbed the embed code for the form, which is quite easy to do in Google Docs, and she's embedded the form into Blackboard, and that's how it comes up. And once people log into this university portal, they've got access to this straight away, and it's asking for their number and name there. So once they come through, let's just have a look. So this is, so the students complete the multiple choice quiz in the lecture period, and at the end she disables the lecture, and you can have multiple people completing the form at the same time, and it just populates a spreadsheet that it automatically generates, and that is really cool. I know it's going to be quite small for you there, but I'll just try to describe this a little bit and maybe make it a bit bigger if I can. So what we have here is we've got, on the left-hand side, we'll have a timestamp when everyone completed the quiz. We've got student number, student name, I've just pulled those out, but here are the questions she's asked, and here is all the answers that the students have given. And as you know, once you have something in a spreadsheet environment, you can do whatever you like to it, like put that in in bar charts, pie charts, and that sort of thing. And this is all happening live in the theatre. So this is some of the results she got from one that she has run. And you can see here, here's a question up the top. This is a business informatics course. I plead innocence for anyone who asks me questions about that, and please don't. So you can see this is the question here, and you can see the amount of answers here that people are given. So obviously they like one a lot more than the others. You can see they're pretty much okay with that. But once you see things like this, I mean, just imagine this coming up on the projector in your theatre. You can see it's a really big spread of students, like only half of them here have chosen this one, and the rest is quite spread. So she can address immediately in the theatre, you all need help on this point, and she can immediately help everyone in the theatre straight away. This one down the bottom, they all seem pretty cool with, 153. I'm assuming that's the correct answer, I really don't know. But that's the kind of power that you have with things like this. So if we have time, I can probably, I might move on, and if anyone wants to see a doc, like a form made up, like a quiz, I'm happy to do that as well. Yeah, but I'll see if we get questions and if we have time. Do you want me to do that now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. Okay, so I'll just... Okay, so this is my university docs. I'll create the form here. I'll just go to Create and then Form. Okay, and so 1 second. So what we've got here is, see, it's already got the single sign-on here, so it's when they're logged in with the Griffith account, it's automatically going to give them access to this document. So untitled form, let's call this Awesome quiz. So question 1, let's just, one sec, we'll just say, let's just call this name so we can grab that names. And this type of question is a text question. There's a whole bunch of different types you can ask, but this one is just one that requires a text answer. So then we'll go on to question 2. So we will call this one best animal. And this one is going to be a multiple choice. Option 1 is cat. Option 2, dog. Option 3, elephant. And a mouse. Okay, and we can make that a required question before completing the quiz, so I'll just hit done there. And we can add, I'll just add one more just so we can see. We'll add a multiple choice. Okay, let's see what everyone's favourite dog breed is. So I'll go Roddy, Boxer, Border Collie. I know who's going to win this one because I have one sitting at home. Maltese. Alright, so we are done here. Now if we want to, up here we can grab the embed code. So this is what this particular lecturer does, who puts it into her Blackboard for everyone to see when they log in. We can choose to email this form around if we want to share it with a few people. You can add an address book contact or just put email addresses in here. I won't do that now because there's a cool little link down the bottom that we can just go straight to the form straight away after we've made it. So I'll click on that. Here it is, awesome quiz. All right, Mark. Favorite animal is obviously a dog, that goes without saying. And yes, submit. Okay, so that's my quiz submitted now. And now if I come back, awesome quiz, it's just popped up. And this is a spreadsheet that was automatically made and is now in my docs. And this is the result, similar to that screenshot we just saw. I've got a timestamp, that's when I completed it. Name, dog, Roddy, everything's there. And once I have this in this environment, I can just jump on here and insert a chart. I won't go and do that now because everyone knows what a chart looks like, but I mean, once it's in that environment, you can manipulate it into any way you like and see, you know, who else loves Roddies. So yeah, that is. I will jump back. Just give me 1 second. Turn the screen share off. Just before I wrap up, I just wanted to mention a couple of other things that are happening at Griffith as far as clubs using Google Docs. Our branch of the Golden Key, which I'm pretty sure most unis have a chapter of Golden Key, they use Docs to send out responses for forms and gather information because they deal with a lot of charity work and charity funds and that sort of thing for scholarships and whatnot, so they need to make sure that's a reliable system and they rely on Docs for that. They also share up their meeting minutes and all sorts of things. A couple of cool sites use cases I've found is we have a psychology lecturer who uses sites as a wiki, and her students contribute to the wiki live, and they sort of analyse case studies using that, clinical case studies. And another academic in an ICT-related course has his students build e-portfolios using sites so they can showcase their work as they go through. And as ambassadors, we have access to the metrics of who's using Docs and all this stuff, and that's all just in a shared spreadsheet. So we can see if we run a Docs event or we run a Gmail event or we run a calendar event, we can see if we're having an impact. We can jump in there and check out that shared document. Yeah, we register our attendance with forms. And of course, we hang out and contribute live, as I was showing you with our work there at uni. So to summarise, there's no excuses now for anybody saying they don't have that version of whatever program you use for this sort of software, a spreadsheeting program, word processing, or making slides. There's no excuses now. I've been in group projects where people haven't had the right version. We've all had to commute into uni to use a uni computer, and for me that's 50 minutes each way, and it's just ridiculous. So now we can all do it online all the time, and yeah, no more circulating of emails and wondering what the right version is. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mark. And similar question for you that I asked him earlier. Do you find yourself accessing any of your docs or any other content on the go on your phone or tablet?
Yeah, with Docs, it's awesome. I use it. I'm an iPhone user, so please, please be nice. But look, it's an iDroid. Yeah, I access it on my iPhone, and it's everything's always there on my phone. I also have an iPad, and you know, it's all just exactly the same as anything that's in the cloud. Anyone with any device, so Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, Chromebooks, whatever you've got, it always looks exactly the same, and you know you're always working on the latest thing, and you know you've always got the latest version of Docs, which is important too. There's no updates, there's no anything. If there's a new feature that comes out, you'll just go look in a menu and go, oh, when did that come out? So it just automatically, every time you log in, you'll have the latest version, and I think that's awesome.
And what would you say to your fellow students out there that have yet to try either calendar, sites, docs, both of you? What would you say to them?
I'm in the process of converting. I've got it tough because I'm in a medical science degree, and there's a lot of old school people that are in my course, and excuse me. And yeah, I'm in the process of doing it now. Since I've been using Docs more often and people can see it, and I'm asking them now, like these two people who are contributing to my first document knew nothing about this before, and once you show them, once you see text appearing on your screen, or once you see one calendar that updates so many different things, like Jim was talking about, I think it sells itself. You don't have to do any speaking, you just show them what you can achieve in a couple of seconds on all your devices.
Yeah, my advice is to just try it. I mean, it's free, it's out there. You may as well use it.
And just a reminder to anyone on the live stream, feel free to submit any questions on the comment stream. We're having Q&A now.
Cool.
I'm at another question about things you haven't used yet. Maybe do you guys want to just share some other apps that you maybe not have used as much in the past, but you're looking to use or try out next?
Ooh. That's a tough one.
Maybe you're an expert on everything else.
It's probably mostly groups for me. Like of the ones we actually have available at uni, I haven't set up a group. I mean, it would be handy for group sharing, but we kind of use Docs for that, and we actually leave each other little comments in there anyway. Is this right in bright pink? So. Yeah, I mean, the most I've used groups is as an ambassador, to be honest. But it's interesting to explore. But I find that the collaboration is everywhere in the apps suite. So I've never had to explore it just yet.
Tim, anything else that you might want to try next, or have you tried them all already?
One thing I want to try that I can't, and it's because I'm in Australia, is Map Maker for Google Maps. One thing I despise about Monash is that if you look on Google Maps, all it is just one blank square, where we have 100 or so buildings, and yeah, it would look amazing on Google Maps in 3D. It would be amazing.
Have you made any other 3D maps on any other places yet?
No. Not really. I've seen a lot of people use SketchUp with 3D models in their project and stuff like that. But other than that, not really.
Cool. Okay, a couple questions coming in. Someone asked, how does Google Calendar help with group work? Could you maybe talk a little bit about that again? I know you talked a little bit about that earlier, but
yeah. It really helps with assisting and scheduling meetings. I mean, to be able to see everyone's calendar and not do it manually where everyone's looking at theirs and say, are you free at this time? Yes, yes, no. Are you free at this time? No, no, no. But to be able to see it on one screen is really useful. And yeah, if you have a majority of your events shared on your own personal calendar, you can actually basically invite people and you can see when they're busy and when they're not. and that's also a very useful feature. There are also suggested times for events when you have shared calendars with each other, and that's also really useful.
Yeah, another thing, one of the ambassadors back here in the U.S. told me, I think he has some kind of theater or improv group, and they assign shifts for when people will schedule the next meeting, and they use Google Calendar for that. They'll just put someone's name on an event, and it's almost like managing tasks. Like they just put someone's name on the event, and then so everyone can simply see, all right, this is when my shift is, this is when it's due, you know, this is where I need to be on a certain time, and then everyone else can see that too. See if any other questions come in. Last call for questions on the live stream.
There is one thing I want to mention, and that's Google Docs in Hangouts. Especially with my ambassador work, I use it a lot because there's a total of 5 of us at Monash, and we're all in different faculties. We very rarely can meet up during the weekdays before any respectable time. So we usually hang out on Google Plus with a Google Doc of our minutes right in the center of the screen, and we all edit that, and we can all see each other and talk to each other in real time, and it's very, very useful.
Mm-hmm. Definitely agree. The Hangouts with extras, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can just dump everything in there. If it looks horrible while you're on the call, it doesn't matter. You've got the rest of the night to go make it look pretty, and everyone's got access.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks so much, both of you, for taking the time to share how you use apps and answer some of the questions we've had today. Any final thoughts you want to part with?
I don't know what it was like before apps, and I'm not saying that as an ambassador. Once you get absorbed in it, it's kind of, I get paranoid using a word processing software package that's not automatically saving. Like every time I hit space or every time I write a word, it saves in the cloud, and I just can't use them. I've just lost work too many times in even 5 or 10 minutes worth of work that you've lost between autosaves. It's enough to just get you down, demotivate you, and it has a bigger impact than 5 minutes. And yeah, I tried to use other software the other day, and honestly, I just as a bit of a test, and I just got paranoid. No, it's not saving. Help! Command S, Command S. So yeah, that's the biggest one for me.
Yeah. I've been at Monash for 3 years now, and I couldn't imagine uni life without it. At the Ambassador Summit, I learned that some universities don't have Google Apps, and I was kind of shocked by that. I can't really imagine uni without it. Yeah. I'm just glad we have it at Monash, and we are embracing it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, thanks again, guys, for sharing how you're using it. For everyone else on the live stream, thanks for tuning in. This is going to be recorded, so if there's something you wanted to watch again or see our ambassadors demonstrate again, you can check out the video. It will be on YouTube shortly. And that's it. That wraps it up. So thanks again, and have a great day, the rest of you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.